Well, hello again, everybody. Boyd and Jeremy are with you today, and this is the grand finale of our Polar Lights Enterprise Refit build series here on the TrekWorks channel. We're taking you through this entire final process. You can see we're working on the huge base for this right now. We've started off here by installing our LED strip lighting all the way around the circumference here, which is going to light our top part of our plaque on the top. We've got 4 switches here that'll be able to operate the model. We've got a power for an on-off switch will operate the main flashing lights and the window lighting on the model, and it'll also light up the base at the same time. Then we've got our warp switch, which will operate the chiller grills. We've got the photon switch, and then finally the deflector dish fading switch. You can see we've installed our speaker here for our photon torpedo sounds, and we're just going around right now and test fitting everything and getting this wiring in place and fine-tuning everything. We had to mount the pedestal here in the center and get that all squared away and get it nice and straight. And you can see it's secured down with some really good hefty screws here, so it's not going to go anywhere. So what we're going to be doing next is we're going to be running our wires through the rod here, which will go up into the model and over to our switches here, which are going to be on the front panel. And we're going to be getting those all connected and soldered up. So we're going to work on that for a little bit, and we'll come back and show you some progress that we're making with this. And we're going to take you through the whole thing of mounting the model down onto the base and getting it all tidied up, guys. So be back with that in just a few seconds, everybody. Well, here we are. We've got our model mounted on the base now. We've been working long and hard on this. We've got our base all covered up and protected here. We've been doing all of the wiring on this, just connecting and soldering the wire harness from our control switches coming up through the mounting rod of the base up inside the model here and terminating them here at the inside of the deflector dish housing. I've been wiring each wire at a time and then testing it. I've just finished testing this last wire here, which connects to the fader effect on our deflector dish. So I'm just going to solder this last wire here, and then we're going to go ahead and close our deflector dish housing up. And I've just got this little wire right here we need to solder, and that is our trigger wire, which operates our changing from amber to blue on our deflector dish. And I've got that soldered good. I had the wire bare already and I tested it, so I'm going to wrap it now with some of this vinyl tape here, which is the same thing as regular electrical tape. And then we will be ready to close this up. And this will be the final part of our wiring and assembly on the model. Okay, I've got that. I'm just going to put a bead of canopy glue around the deflector dish housing here. I'm using canopy glue because a little bit of glue is going to squeeze out around the edges of this, and it's not really a load-bearing item. So this will be a really nice way to seal all this up. We can just come back with our little towel with some water on it and wipe off the excess once we get it glued in place, because a little bit of glue is going to come squirting out around the edges here. We don't have to worry about ruining any of our paint or anything like that. Okay. And we'll carefully guide the rest of our wiring inside here, make sure we don't pinch anything. Turn this over. Make sure I get everything lined up just right here. I'm trying to get it up underneath of the little lip there on the top. And it should snap right into place. Which it did. Okay, so now I'm going to get my little towel here with some water on it. All right, Jeremy, help me out with that. Okay. And all I have to do is wipe off the excess glue here, and we're going to call it a day, guys. We're going to come back here in just a few minutes and show you the final of the model all mounted on the base and everything all lit up, and we'll go through how all the controls work on this. I really like this canopy glue. It just cleans up lickety split. Makes a nice seal around there, and it's actually surprisingly strong too once it's dry. It's really good, has really good holding power. It's a little bit down here on the bottom yet. All right, we've got a beautiful deflector dish on there that you can see now, and everything's all set up. So we're going to come back here in just a little bit, guys, and show you the grand finale here of the Enterprise Refit build mounted on this beautiful base. This is about 5 months worth of work, so we're really pleased to be able to bring this to you finally. So sit back, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple seconds, and we'll show you the whole Enterprise and go through some of the controls and everything. See you with that in just a second. Well, here we are, everybody, finally, after months of work. Here is our Polar Lights 1/350 scale Enterprise Refit, all done and finished up and mounted on our display base. Before we get into the details and I show you around the model a little bit, I want to say a really big special thank you to my friend Jerry at HDA Model Works and Dave at Wolf Base for creating this beautiful display base to go along with the model. I'm really, really happy with it, and it's going to allow me to provide a really, really beautiful addition to the models for future client builds here on the channel, and I'm really pleased with how it turned out. You can notice right off the bat here that we have this beautiful mirrored finish on the top, which gives the ability to look down into it. Now you can see all these beautiful painted on Aztecs that we spent all those hours working on the entire model here. You can see the beautiful patterns there on the bottom of the saucer all the way around. We didn't scrimp anywhere. We used all the colors. We've got the blue, the gold, the green, the red, and it just looks absolutely fantastic. I'm really, really pleased with it, and it couldn't have turned out any better. You can kind of take a look here at the top of the saucer as well, and you can see all those patterns coming through. And I'm really fortunate that along the way I got to know Paul Olson very well, who painted the original model for Star Trek the Motion Picture. And speaking to him and the others that worked on the model when I did that interview out in LA this last spring, I got a lot of detailed information from them and guidance about how to build this model and make it look as close as we could to the original model that was used in the film. And I think we came out pretty well. Here you can see the paneling on the sides of the secondary hull there. It's very unique to the refit, much different than it looked on the A, the later version of the ship, which had completely different patterns. And even the color of the strong back is a specific color of a sort of a light, really light greenish gray, and we've captured that all. Jerry did an outstanding job with his decals from HDA Model Works for those. And here you can see our Aztecs coming through on our nacelles, and it just turned out really, really wonderful, guys. I'm really pleased with this whole thing. And looking down here, you can see the reflection of the belly here, all that Aztec work we did on that area. And even I did another tribute to Paul Olson there. You can see the little streaks of iridescent paints underneath of the fantail there. That's exactly how he painted the model back in 1978. And you can see here, we'll take a look underneath of the saucer top here, and we'll see the work that we did on that deflector dish really paid off by adding on those nice little spokes that we did. I think that looks really nice and crisp and clean. Came out really beautiful, and it was worth the extra work to do that. And we'll kind of walk around the side here and see the port side of the secondary hull, and you can see our Aztecs and everything coming through on that. Up here on the top, you can see the beautiful thunderbolt patterns there coming through on our pylons, and our detail here on the nacelles. You can take you around the back side here. We've got those nice photo etch parts on there, those caps that go on there. And it came out really, really nice. Here we can look at the patterns on the top of the secondary hull there, and all the different colors coming through. And really, really nice. So let's talk about the controls on the base here. We could start out and see first that we have this main power switch. Now these are all really nice, high quality metal switches, and you can see they light up in a beautiful indigo kind of a blue color. Just absolutely phenomenal. And we have this nice perimeter lighting that extends all the way around the base here, and it helps illuminate the model in low light as well, and it looks fantastic. Our power switch, as you can see, turns on all the lighting on our base and also activates our primary circuits on the model, which are the flashing navigation and strobe lights, and our main bridge lighting, our window lighting here, and the running lights on the nacelles, the flood lamps. We've got our little crystals lit up there on the top that you can see, and we've also got all of our thruster lighting going on around the deflector housing there, and up on the saucer here, and all the way back at the rear at the end of the nacelles. Here you can see our strobe lights going on our nacelles. Our second switch here is our photon torpedo effect. I'm going to go ahead and hit this button for you and show you a quick little demo of that. You can see we have our effect here going on at the front. I'll do this once more for you here so you can see the whole thing going through. We've got our sound going on with that coming out on the bottom of the base, so that's really nice. Here's a look at the bottom of the saucer with all of our painting details there. Came out really well. And let's go ahead and activate the deflector dish. We push this button once here, and we see that we get our amber crystal here now appearing at the top, and also our impulse engines here lighting up, and also we have our amber colored deflector dish here. And as you can see, I worked really hard on this deflector dish. One thing that bothers me about a lot of the builds that I see of this model is that the dish tends to be overlit, where it's glaring really, really bad, and it looks like a flashlight coming out of the front of this. And in the movie it was really, really subtle, and you can see it kind of get bright in the center and then kind of trail off at the edges, and it's dim enough where you can see the detail of the spokes, and you can see that nice beautiful photo etch ring that goes all the way around, and that detail that it adds, and it looks really, really nice. So we worked really long and hard on that, trying different resistors and LEDs and things like that to get that to work, and just the right amount of back painting behind on the back side of that lens to get that to come through really nice. We're going to hit it again here and change to the blue. And this camera for some reason likes to really overexpose our blue here, but you can see from the front that we've got a really nice effect going on, where it's just the same in person as it is with our amber, where it's just beautifully lit, and it's just really subtle with a nice glow in the middle, and you can really see the detail of the photo etch part all the way around the edge of that ring. So I'm really happy with that. And you can see what happens when we do that. We also get our blue crystal here at the top, and our impulse engines then go out when we're theoretically going into warp mode. You can see here we've got our crew figures there inside, painted in the Star Trek the Motion Picture colors of that sort of washed out blue-gray color, sitting on the benches in there. Those are actually 1/350 scale figures. They're not the flat photo etch figures. Those are real figures that we painted up. And now we can go ahead and turn on our final button here, which is our chiller grills here at the top. And you can see we've got a beautiful effect. We've got our correct 5-bar lighting effect going on with these, and it looks really nice. I'll turn these off for just a second and point out something on these. I was talking to the guys at the when I did the interview, and I had some questions about how these were done. These were actually done with a machined aluminum panel, and they were done with a material that was called dicum, which is a purple kind of a thing that machinists use in their machine shops, and that's what gave it that. They actually appeared as to be, when they were turned off, as sort of a dark violet color, and you can see that we painted those that color on this model. And the small thin areas of the bars here are what are supposed to be open. The thicker areas are supposed to be painted. And it's amazing. It's sort of an optical illusion. It's kind of the opposite of what you'd think. But when you turn the power on, as you can see, you get an incredible amount of light coming through just those thin little slits to make it look like the thin bars are the ones that are painted, but they're actually not. So you should have 5 bars, in total coming down to have that correct. So it was interesting to hear all them, hear them talk about that effect and how that was done on the original model. But you can see we've got it all lit up now, and everything looks really good. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to go over and turn off some of our lights in the shop so you guys can see this in some low light. And before we sign off here, and we'll do that for you really quick. Apologize for the bumpy ride. Okay, now we can see our model. I'm getting a little bit of glare off of my shop lamp there on the mirror, but let's get the right angle here. Well, now we can see our beautiful flood lamp here coming through on the top of the saucer as well, and you can see some of the Aztecs showing up really nice. We worked really hard on the sheen of this model too. If you watch the motion picture, in certain scenes when the Enterprise tilts a certain way, there's a sort of a shiny sheen on it, but it's not overly shiny. And so I experimented back and forth with several types of clears until I came up with the one that I liked. And I really think it looks good. You can see our flood lamp effect here is illuminating the top of the saucer now. And you notice that detail that we did early on where we shaved off these phaser banks so we don't have this rectangular raised area here that's casting a shadow that's incorrect on this model compared to the studio model that we straightened out too. So that made a big difference and looks a lot nicer. And here we'll just kind of take you around some of the window lighting and everything. You can see how crisp and brightly lit they all are. It looks really good. There you can see some of our Raytheon lighting that we did on the stern of the nacelles to light up the registry numbers. And we'll have a look on the bottom of the saucer to see that we've got all of our floodlights coming out of our planetary sensor array, lighting up really nicely. And let's head around to the port side. And you can see the same thing going on over here. Now this time we've got a really nice flood lamp effect down on the side of the secondary hull that I wasn't really able to achieve quite the way I wanted to on the first model that I built last year. I used SMDs this time and got a lot better floodlight effect going on there. I'll go ahead and turn off this other background light here, and you can see that we're illuminating the entire front section of that secondary hull now, just like it should be, and it looks just like it did in the movie where you see that beautiful sort of sheen coming off of the model as it you change angles and things like that, and it really came out nice, and it actually kind of lights up our Aztecs really well on the side of the secondary hull here too. Let's go back and take a look inside the shuttle bay really quick, and if my camera will cooperate and focus here, you can see we've placed a shuttle in there. That's just sitting in there. My client didn't want shuttles permanently mounted in there, so he can reach in there with a pair of tweezers and take it out. The shuttles do tend to block a lot of the detail inside of the shuttle bay if you put them in, so I gave him the option of doing that. And also what we're doing here is we're providing the full door setup on this so that he can either display the model with the bay doors open or fully closed. That'll be his option, and not the photo etch kind of retracted doors that we did on my build, but that's going to be really nice for him to have that option as well. Here we can look up. I'm going to switch the deflector again so we can go back and see the impulse engines in the low light, and you can see how beautiful our chiller grills look and everything. It turned out really, really nice. And something I'll point out, a detail on the refit too that I often get asked about, is if you go back and you pay attention to Star Trek the Motion Picture, we have this little light here on the top of the fantail, and also the one on the bottom that you see lit up there. Those did not flash in Star Trek the Motion Picture. If you pay attention to the film, you'll notice that all the way through the whole sequence they're not flashing, they're just constantly on. When you started to see them flash was about halfway through Star Trek 2, because if you know the history of that film, some of the shots that we see in Star Trek 2 are stock shots from Star Trek the Motion Picture, and some of the shots we see of the model is when ILM took over the handling of the model, and they actually made a few changes, and you saw the flashing light going on at the stern about halfway through the Wrath of Khan. Just a little trivia thing for you guys if you haven't noticed it before. So we wanted to make sure we did the refit version from the motion picture where the lights were on steady like that. And again, just getting some information from the people that actually built the model. So I'm pretty sure they know what they're talking about. So I was listening to everything that they said while I was there, and I was fascinated by the whole thing. I want to mention too that you can go over to Paul Olson's website, and you can now see the video of the entire interview that we did with those guys in the spring, and it's just absolutely fascinating if you're a Star Trek fan. Just tons of information in there about how they did everything with this model and the other models that were used in the film as well. So, okay, guys, well that's going to be a wrap. I want to say a big thank you to everybody that followed along with this build all the way through and gave us the great words of encouragement, gave us some tips and advice along the way, and just follow this in general. And it was a real pleasure to do this video build series for you guys. I hope you'll find it useful. We tried to do the best job we could. We didn't cover every minute detail, but you can always write to me and ask me questions about something you might not have seen. And this won't be the last refit that you're going to see here on the channel as well, guys. We're going to be doing more. In fact, we're about 25% through our next build already. I won't be showing you the day-to-day work on that because we've been so much refit here on the channel, but you'll see little tidbits of it here and there, and if there's something specific that you want me to show about a procedure we're doing on the assembly or something like that, I'll be happy to do that for you guys. And all you have to do is write in and ask, and we really enjoy sharing what we do and the knowledge that we're using here on the channel with different things that we've learned over the years with you guys so you can build your own models, and we really encourage you to do that. So thanks again for tuning in, everybody. We'll be back in a couple of days. We've got a lot more exciting modeling action coming for you guys. We've got the 153.7 scale Reliant that we're working on. We're going to be back to work on the big De Boers Reliant. We've got a 2500 scale Battlestar Galactica kit coming in, the really nice kit from JT Graphics. We've also got a JJ Prize we're going to be doing with motorized Bassards this time, and several other builds, guys. The B9 robot, you'll be seeing an out-of-the-box review on Ralph's brand new lighting kit from from Tenna Controls as we build that model up. And then we've got the T2 Hunter Tank Killer we're going to be working on as well, too, guys. So lots of cool stuff coming down the pipe. So happy modeling, everybody. We're going to close out now with a couple of beauty shots of the model. And enjoy it, everybody. And thanks again for all the kind words and support through this entire build. We really appreciate it. Until we see you next time, everybody, take care and happy modeling, everyone.